Hello, this is Annette with Project Refine Life. Welcome to my channel. In this video, I am sharing with you my top 5 oracle decks that came into my collection in 2023. So let's get right to this. This is the Dia de los Muertos oracle deck. I received this deck as a gift from Queen Aset, and I have to say that there was some resistance on my part when she talked to me about getting this deck and when I first saw this deck, because I saw that the creators were not Latino. And I thought, I don't like that. This is probably one of those cash grab type of situations, so I'm not interested. Even though artistically it really appealed to me, I was just like, no, I don't want it. So she sent it to me, and I did tell her, you know, I don't know about that deck. There's something about it that I'm not quite sure about. But she sent it to me anyway. And I am so happy and so thankful that she did, because this deck is created with love and with total respect for my culture. Completely immersed within the culture, and they do understand it. So after looking into it a little bit further, I did find out a few things about the creators, which made me understand that this is not in fact a cash grab. They are in fact invested within this culture. They live within this culture. They are fascinated by the culture. And there's certain things within the deck and certain symbols like this right here. This means something. This means something. So looking at things like that within the deck, then I understand that they do understand what's going on. So I really love this deck. And this deck, because it really does speak to my culture, this is not something that I only work with during October or November. This is something that I can pull any time of the year that really connects to me, to my lineage. So I'm so thankful for this deck. This is gorgeous. The next deck I'm sharing with you is the Wild Unknown Alchemy deck. This deck is a deck that I went out and purchased on the day of my son's passing, the anniversary date. When that date comes around, I will always go out and try to spend some time by myself, just being. And I usually do buy myself something on that particular day. This day, I stepped into Barnes & Noble and I thought, I don't know about this deck. I'm really not sure. That octagon shape really is not for me. And I'm so glad that there was nothing else that was really calling me, because I brought this home and I worked with it, and I was like, holy moly. Thank you, thank you, thank you, because my son obviously helped guide me to make this decision. This is a fantastic deck, and it does have to do so much with alchemy, and I love the way that she writes within this specific guidebook. It is set up very similar to the archetypal deck, where you have these little words around the side of the main focus here within the description of the identification of the card. And they're really tiny, so I do need to use my magnifying glass, or if I have a really lit room, then I can read these words with my glasses on. But it's worth it. It really is worth it. You know, at first I'm like, the shape. But she did it on purpose. She's referencing the bees and how they are the master alchemist. And with that in mind, and I love bees. There is something that is very special to me with bees, and it should be for everybody. Everybody should really be paying attention to the bees, because without the bees, we don't have food. Without the food, we can't survive. So everybody should really be paying attention to the bees. Anyhow, I went off course here. But this deck is just stunning. It is smart. It is just so well done. I really, really have enjoyed this deck. As you can see, it does require a little bit of work to put it in order, but it's worth it. This is a Southern Gothic Oracle by Stacey Williams Nigg, and This is a deck that I resisted for a while as well, because I thought, I'm not from the South, I've never been to the South, I really have no idea what they're going to talk about, how is it going to pertain to me, how am I going to understand this deck? But once I got the deck in, oh my goodness, I could not put it down. This is another beautifully illustrated deck. The guidebook is great. The card quality is beautiful, and as a result of another one of La Panthier's decks that I received, I have gone on a complete love affair with La Panthiere Studios projects. I love them. I love the way that they represent themselves, and you can tell that they're in it because they love it, not because it is something that will bring them some cash. It's not like that at all. So I really, really enjoy this deck, and this deck has really stepped into a lot of spaces for me. Next is the Ancestral Magic Divination Kit. These are the cards alone. It does come with a pendulum. It comes with a pendulum board within the deck itself. I do have included in here some additional packs, so it does make the deck a little bit bigger. And what this deck has done is it has divided the cards in two. So you have the spirit cards, and I love the collage work. This is so beautiful. Again, another La Panthiere Studios creation. This is the guidebook is written by Nancy Hendrickson, and the illustrations are created by Stacy Williams-Nigg again. And I love this deck. This is the magic portion of it. So with this deck, when you are working with your ancestors, you're working with their spirit, who they are, not what they're telling us so much, how they're guiding us with their spirit, and then also how they're connecting with us and guiding us through their magic, and how we can utilize their magic to enhance our own magical practice or our life. And it is just beautiful. I just can't get over the images. They are really, really gorgeous. But this is, again, one of those other decks. The Wild and Sacred Feminine deck. My goodness, you guys, I use this deck so much. I love this deck. This is an amazingly beautiful, grounded deck that covers so many different aspects of a spiritual practice. I love that it leans into this very earth-based practice, and the illustrations are soft and beautiful. The guidebook is wonderful. I know that this is a little bit big as far as, you know, the space that I have to store my decks in, but I do not want to remove it because I love it just the way it is. This is the guidebook. I use this thing all the time when I am doing these deep journaling type of workshops. This is one of the decks that I always pull out because there is something that really connects to what it is that I'm journaling about, and that I can take that journaling question a little bit bigger or a little bit deeper with. This is such a beautiful deck. As a matter of fact, if you look at my November 2023 book and deck haul, and also my wrap up, you'll see that I was lucky enough to obtain the indie version of this deck as part of my anniversary gift, and I am so grateful to have this thing within my collection. Even if I had never received the indie deck, just this alone would have been enough. And to be honest, because I've connected with this so much, I you know, even finding that indie deck, I had to think about, like, do I really need it? Because I have this one and it's wonderful. But you guys, if you're looking for something to really ground you, this is a mass market deck and it is fantastic. Now, I couldn't close out this top 5 decks without mentioning this one, because this one came in seriously just within the last couple of weeks, and I have been working with it. I really love it, but it's not currently available. So, but I need to share it because these are my top deck. So I know this is beyond the 5, so this is technically number 6, but this is When Olga Speaks. She was offering this on Kickstarter and it didn't fund. So then she was offering it on Make Playing Cards, but she has since taken it down. And this deck is amazing. There's no guidebook. And as a matter of fact, this is the only deck within my collection this year that I've actually edged. Maybe not very well, but I have. I've actually edged the deck. And I have worked with this deck a lot within the past couple of weeks. Not readings that I've actually, I think I've only really documented one within my journal, but I've been working with this a lot. The images themselves throw back to the 70s, and I was born in the 60s, so I was a kid in the 70s, and just looking at these images, it is such a connection for me. I can see my mom, I can see my aunts, I can see all these images from when I was a kid. But not only that, I do love that there are a lot of city scenes within this deck, and the keyword or the key phrase really does tie you into these beautiful collage images. I know she's going to come out. I know that within time she'll do another Kickstarter. And I do look forward to working with that deck and within the guidebook. However, if it comes available on Make Playing Cards again, I think there's enough here for anybody to work with. The images and the background, all of it tie in. All of it is just this beautiful love story. And it's funny because as I started working with this deck, it's called When Olga Speaks, and I thought, damn, she is not speaking. She is just like, she's taken the floor. Everything is hers. There is no denying Olga's voice within this deck. It is a beautifully, beautifully created deck. And I'm curious as to what the guidebook will be, but there's already a deep connection with this deck and what it has to offer as far as the images and the titles. It's an amazing, amazing deck. And I believe this is Maria Sabina. It looks like Maria Sabina to me from a glance, but I don't know because there's no guidebook, but it looks like her. So that's another thing about this deck, is there's a lot of references as far as for me that tie into my upbringing and my beliefs. And I just really, really adore this deck. So this is my honorable mention, and that's only because I've only had it for a very short time. So these are my 5 plus 1 extra Oracle decks of 2023. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you later.